You've probably heard a lot about the drug Ozempic lately. Originally developed to help in the treatment of diabetes, the product's popularity exploded when it was discovered a side effect for users was dramatic weight loss. From that point, perhaps not surprisingly, anyone diabetic or not, looking to quickly drop a few kilos or more, joined the race to get hold of Ozempic. And when Hollywood's most glamorous started showing off their slimmed down selves, the drug gained even more buzz. But now, as Nine's Dimity Clancy reports, experts are warning there could be another side effect from this often unsupervised use of Ozempic: death.
The silence Roy Webster wakes up to each day is a deafening reminder of everything he's lost. Trish, the love of his life.
I don't sleep in the bed, I sleep on a lounge, for the last 10 months.
Now he says he owes it to his wife to find out the truth of what caused her sudden and horrific death.
I couldn't save her, That's the hard part, when you're trying to save your loved one, that's hard.
Trish was 56 when she died in January. But she might still be here if she hadn't decided to lose weight for her daughter's wedding. She thought the so-called wonder drug Ozempic was the answer. But instead, it made her so sick, Roy says it killed her.
If I knew that could happen, she wouldn't have been taking it. I would have made sure she wasn't going to take it. But I never knew that could happen to a person.
Who is it that you're most angry at?
The doctors. The doctors who prescribed it.
For the last 2 years, Ozempic has created a fat-burning revolution.
If you ever want to drop 5 pounds, this is good.
People are doing Ozempic parties here in LA.
Thanks largely to Hollywood celebrities.
When I look around this room, I can't help but wonder, is Ozempic right for me?
And not surprisingly, online, business is booming.
So you're seeing near 20% weight loss at 12 months, which is you put that into numbers and you see a 140 kilo person losing 28 kilos. That's really changing their life.
Tonight, the other side of Ozempic. The risks, the illnesses, and the push to stop the drug landing in the wrong hands.
I think I feel really afraid for what is happening to medicine. I feel really afraid at the loss of regulation over medications that can be risky.
Did you ever get sick of working with each other?
No.
Living, working together?
No, she's just like a boss, she was, She was my best friend. Loved her. Loved her a lot.
Trish, like a lot of people, worried about her weight. She tried all the regular things, the gym, diet, and then came across Ozempic, a diabetes drug with an attractive side effect of significant weight loss.
How did Trish get Ozempic?
She saw it on TV. She got a prescription from a doctor. The doctor said he thought it was a good idea for weight loss.
Did Trish have diabetes?
No, she didn't have diabetes, no.
Despite the Therapeutic Goods Administration advising against it, doctors are prescribing Ozempic for weight loss. In 5 months, Trish lost 16 kilos taking Ozempic and weight loss drug Saxenda. But Roy says the side effects made her constantly ill.
She went back a couple of times to the doctor saying she was sick and she had diarrhoea and nausea.
Why didn't she just stop taking it if it was making her so sick?
My daughter was getting married and she just kept mentioning that dress that she wanted to wear, And so she went to the drastic measures of doing what she was doing. Just one big nightmare, from there.
Roy says Trish believed the nausea and vomiting would pass, like it had before. But on January 16 this year, something went seriously wrong.
She had a little bit of brown stuff coming out of her mouth, and I realised she wasn't breathing. And I started doing CPR. It was just pouring out, and I turned her to the side and trying to get it out, because she couldn't breathe.
Trish died that night. Her death certificate states the cause was an acute gastrointestinal illness. While it doesn't draw any direct link to the weight loss medication, Roy believes the drugs contributed to his wife's death.
No, I never thought you could die from it. It was just awful. So I didn't know that can happen to a person.
The manufacturers of Ozempic and Mounjaro, the diabetes drug popular for aiding in weight loss, are facing a lawsuit regarding alleged side effects.
2 recent deaths in the US have prompted the Food and Drug Administration to change the product information for Ozempic and similar weight loss drugs. It now includes warnings for ileus, a severe gastrointestinal illness. The side effect has also caught the Australian regulator's attention, with the TGA investigating local cases. The manufacturer of Ozempic, Novo Nordisk, wouldn't speak to us and wouldn't discuss the recent reports of severe gastrointestinal side effects. But in this statement, the company concedes the recurring stomach complication ileus was only reported in what it calls its post-marketing setting. Curiously, that seems to mean it only became aware of the problem after the drug was released and it turned into a pharmaceutical blockbuster.
It's a tragic outcome, and I think this is one of the risks when we're rolling out these medications that, if there are clinicians that don't know a lot about these medications, but they're being asked to prescribe them by people that have heard about them on social media, that's where the risks come in, because you're not actually adequately counselling someone.
Endocrinologist Dr. Catherine Williams says there is growing evidence that the active ingredient in drugs like Ozempic can cause digestive complications.
The relative risk is significantly elevated with these medications. However, the absolute risk of something like that happening is very, very low. But you can't take any drug without knowing that there could be serious risks.
I know we can't directly relate the death, but when your death certificate says that you died of acute gastrointestinal illness, does that worry you?
Of course it does, yeah. When we prescribe them, we warn people. So if I say to someone, yes, it might be that you do vomit once or twice, but if you're having recurrent vomiting, you need to let me know and you need to stop the medications.
So, how does Ozempic work? When we eat, our body produces hormones to aid digestion. One of them is called GLP-1, which tells us when we're full. Semaglutide, the active ingredient in Ozempic, is designed to mimic the GLP-1 hormone. In the stomach, it slows your digestion so you stay fuller for longer. While in the brain, it suppresses hunger cravings, which helps manage blood sugar levels for diabetics. But it also means you eat less and lose weight.
What do you think of the Hollywood celebrity image that's emerged with something like Ozempic?
Yeah, I think it's really disappointing because it's distracted from the real conversation. So it means that patients like mine won't get access to these therapies, one, because they're now in limited supply, and two, because these drugs are now being seen as a cosmetic intervention when in actual fact they can have real impact in disease and in people's lives that really need them.
Dr. Catherine Williams works on the front line of Australia's obesity epidemic.
Obesity is a disease that makes people really sick, it gives them disability and it can kill them. So I think we need to label it what it is and treat it properly.
So telling someone to eat well and exercise is not the answer to you?
For the people I see, it would have very little impact. So lifestyle might get 5% weight off. With these medications, we're looking at another 5 to 10 to 15%, and that can make real differences in people's diseases.
In the right hands, prescribed by the right doctor, Catherine believes weight loss injections could be life-saving. And people like Andrew couldn't agree more.
All right, Andrew, shall we do your blood pressure? You don't need to move your sleep.
He's one of Dr. Williams' patients who lost 20 kilos taking part in a trial for a drug similar to Ozempic.
Well, thanks. Yeah, going well. I was over 200 kilos at my highest weight.
When you would look at yourself, what would you see?
It's hard to even look at yourself at that size. And, you know, disappointment, sadness that it can't change. I think for people living with severe obesity, it's important to have access to pharmacotherapy. That option is very important for people who are really big, who have all these comorbidities, having their heart issues, their breathing issues, diabetes, you know, mobility issues.
But for every person who really needs Ozempic, there are many more freely accessing the drug for cosmetic weight loss. And as you'll see, there's a lot of money to be made.
The TGA has warned not to give out Ozempic for weight loss.
Yeah.
But that's what you're doing.
Yeah, that is what we're doing.
Venture capitalist Tim Doyle is changing the future of healthcare in Australia. And business for the 33-year-old is good. Very good.
So, Tim, this is how the young guns do it, hey?
I guess so.
4 years after launching his online telehealth company Juniper, he's got 400 staff and is the single biggest provider of Ozempic in the world.
How much money have you made?
I think we would be doing approximately like just over $150 million a year of revenue at the moment. So it's been quick.
Almost as quick as Juniper can deliver weight loss drugs like Ozempic to your door.
What's the concept?
Patients sign up, they do a significant kind of screening quiz, then they talk to a doctor on the phone. The doctor talks to them about treatment options. If they're appropriate, they'll be prescribed a medication. We then facilitate through partner pharmacies the delivery of that medication, and then they start a program.
Juniper's weight loss program starts with 50 questions. From your basic details to your known medical history, no reports or evidence required. It then moves onto your weight loss goals. Before you're asked to pay $285 on the promise you'll be refunded if the GP rejects your application. While you wait for a call from the doctor, Juniper asks you to upload photos.
The best GP appointments will be very similar to what we'll be able to provide online, in the sense that we'll provide a detailed diagnostics, we'll talk to the patient about their history, we'll try and get to the bottom of their problem.
But that GP has never laid eyes on the patient.
No, they haven't laid eyes on the patient, but I think like they have very deeply interacted with their medical information, and they've seen photos of, I guess like they have laid eyes on them in the sense that they have seen photos of the patient.
I could upload any photo.
Yeah, there's an ID verification piece to it as well. So we match people's ID to their Medicare card number. And so we have the combination of that and the screening quiz and the photos. So I think it's reasonably robust in terms of figuring out who people are.
How can you identify what somebody looks like from a Medicare card, though?
Oh, no, you're not looking at the phone. That's, of course, not the... it's the address that they've put in, the name that they've put in, which matches to the Medicare card, and then it's the photos.
So how do you know that the photos I've put up are actually me?
Because we've matched your name and details. I guess like it's hard to know exactly. And so if the doctor is unsure, then they'll talk to them on the phone and figure that out.
And how do you also verify that what I'm telling you in my application in those 50 questions is the truth?
Yeah, that's on the doctors, right? That's how telehealth works. It's on the doctors to have a discussion with patients and figure out their history, their details.
Sam, when did you first notice Ozempic?
Probably pop culture. I think that there was all of these celebrities that had been supposedly using it.
You first thought about it?
Dangerous. But at the same time, how do you get your hands on it?
For someone like Sam, weight loss injections could be a deadly temptation. He's been living with anorexia nervosa for 3 years.
Because so much of an eating disorder is impulsive, you're reacting to a trigger or a feeling, and you sort of reach for what's there, what you know will work.
It's like it fast tracks an eating disorder.
It does, yeah. It's a bullet train to the grave.
Sam's deeply concerned by how accessible Ozempic is and how dangerous it could be for people like him.
If it's just over the phone and it's a couple of minutes of a conversation, then it's limitless as to how you could portray your current needs, why you want to use it, and the effect that it will or won't have for you. If a doctor says no, you'll go to the next doctor.
I'm able to actually articulate how I feel.
Luckily, he has his psychiatrist, Professor Elizabeth Scott, to provide a safety barrier.
This is almost our 10-year anniversary we've worked out. Every week, I have somebody request a script for Ozempic, but in some cases, they are for people I know who have disordered eating, who are not overweight, who really want to use the drug to lose weight or keep their weight down, and that is not appropriate.
Professor Scott worries online providers like Juniper make it too easy for patients to lie and access Ozempic when they shouldn't.
I think it's really risky, and I don't think there are enough safeguards to protect people. It's easy to get a drug by falsifying your information, and it's easy for people on the other side to not be accountable for the medications they're prescribing.
Regulators say easy access to Ozempic is seeing it land in the hands of people who don't need it, contributing to the global shortage of the drug. But Tim Doyle sees no problem in what his multi-million-dollar company is doing.
The TGA has warned not to give out Ozempic for weight loss.
Yeah.
But that's what you're doing.
Yeah, that is what we're doing. But I think the decision that we've made is to support patients on their journey when they need it.
It doesn't bother you what the TGA has said about Ozempic?
Doctors are free to prescribe how they choose. Off-label prescribing is not allowed. Patients and doctors can kind of proceed with that if that's what's required.
Is it money over morals for you?
I think that's extremely unfair.
Is it ethical though?
I think it is ethical, yeah. I think ultimately helping patients with their weight loss journeys and helping them avoid chronic disease is an important job.
I think I feel really afraid for what is happening to medicine. I feel really afraid at the loss of regulation over medications that can be risky. And I think we need to really rein that back so that we have appropriate safeguards in place to protect people.
Australia's TGA wants people like Roy Webster, who lost his wife Trish after taking weight loss injections, to get in contact, because it's stories like his that provide important information for its safety monitoring. However, the regulator says it won't be adding extra warnings to the medication packaging here, because it's up to the doctors prescribing the drugs to fully inform their patients about the dangers.
You will always hold the highest place in my heart until we meet again in heaven. I love you, Mum.
Trish Webster's daughter Melissa is now preparing to get married without her mum.
We have a tough road ahead without you, but we hope you are guiding us every step of the way.
Roy wants a coronial inquest to investigate his wife's death and hopes his warning about the dangers of weight loss injections will save others before it's too late.
She shouldn't be gone, you know. I don't think she should be gone. She didn't deserve that. It's a dangerous drug. It's just not worth it. No, it's not worth it at all.
Hello, I'm Tara Brown. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minutes segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.